Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Em, and this is going to be my ketchup and pickles vlog for January. So it's currently, oh my gosh, the light cannot decide. We just can't decide. Are we sunny? Are we overcast? What is going on? It is currently December 26th. If you celebrate Christmas, I hope you had a lovely Christmas. If you celebrate Hanukkah, I guess this will go back after Hanukkah has finished. So I also hope you had a lovely Hanukkah. If you don't celebrate any winter holidays, I hope you had a cozy, restful, relaxing last week of December. And in this particular ketchup and pickles vlog, I am just going to try and wrap up everything that I'm reading so that I can have a fresh start in January if I don't actually murder the sun in the meantime. So I am not rolling over any TBR books for January. We are just going to clean slate it. However, there are some things that I would like to finish before that time, and I have a little less than a week. I think I can do it. I'm going to try my best. Oh, if you haven't watched a ketchup and pickles vlog before, this is basically my attempt to catch up with the previous month. I'm doing this one early because that's just how well, it's initially in its initial inception, the idea of ketchup and pickles is it was supposed to be a vlog that helped me wrap up anything that I was currently in the middle of before the end of the month, or goals that I had set that I hadn't accomplished yet, and give me a specific opportunity to catch up on all the things that I said I was going to do that I hadn't yet accomplished. So I guess we're going back to the origins. Usually it would roll over into January or into the next month a little bit, but since the next month is the new year and I don't want to roll anything over, we're just going to try and get it done as quickly as possible. We're going to try and get all the things done as quickly as possible. I'm not overwhelmed. It's fine. It's fine. So let's talk about what I'm currently reading because it's a lot. I might have bitten off more than I can chew, but that's okay. I'm currently 71% through Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones. Tor sent me an e-arc of this. This was originally published by a different publisher, I believe, a number of years ago. It's a novella, a long short story, something like that. And Tor is republishing it next year, and so it's only 88 pages, so I'm reading it. I think maybe Stephen Graham Jones's short fiction is not for me. I'm not digging it a whole lot. I am definitely confused, and I'll give you my full thoughts when I finish it because, like I said, it's such a short book that I really think I need to finish it to have full thoughts, but I'm having a hard time tracking, which has been the case with the other short works by Stephen Graham Jones that I've read. So right now it's feeling like maybe a 3, maybe a 2.5. We'll see. This is also solidifying for me that I think Stephen Graham Jones hates dogs. Yeah, that's my current working theory. Other one I am trying to finish is I had started The Story of Silence by Alex Myers earlier this year, and I am trying to wrap up my soft DNFs, and so I've picked this one back up. I'm 140 pages into it, so hopefully I should be able to get that done. If you grew up reading Alana, the Alana books by Tamora Pierce, this is adult fantasy version of Alana. This takes place in the 12th century or the 13th century, and we're following Silence, who is assigned female at birth but raised as a boy, and for political inheriting land reasons, I think eventually becomes a non-binary knight. and we're following Silence from birth as they grow up. And so the part I'm at right now is Silence has finally convinced his father to let him train to be a knight with the other boys of the kingdom. But because Silence's anatomy is female, Silence has to make a lot of adjustments and can't behave in front of the other boys the way the other boys behave, because if anybody found out their secret, like, it would be catastrophic for Silence's father. And it definitely, now that we're in the like training to be a knight section, it's reminding me so much of Alana. I don't know that Silence is as lovable as Alana is, but it's definitely like, if you read Alana as a kid and you want like a grown-up version of that book, I think this is it. But like I said, I'd like to finish it. Chapters are so long, which I don't love. I really love short chapters. They give me such a sense of accomplishment. But yeah, we're gonna keep going with this one. And then the other book I soft DNF, I should get a proper bookmark for this one, but I soft DNF'd this earlier in the year and I just picked it up again, and it is Trust by Hernan Diaz. This won the Pulitzer Prize this year or last year. I don't actually know for sure. Anyways, it won a something. And I've been really intrigued by this, and I tried to read it during the summer and it just wasn't the right time. I got distracted by all the bright shiny things, and I have restarted it, and I'm now past where I was when I soft DNF'd it. I think I'm 53 pages in. My goal is just to read like 50 pages of this a day over the next week. I might have to double up on one of the days in order to actually get it done before next Wednesday, but that's okay. And I am immersion reading this along with the audiobook, because it is literary fiction, and I'm not in a literary fiction brain space right now. And then the one I haven't started yet, oh no, I forgot. Okay, I am also listening to Dinner for Vampires on audio by Bethany Joy Lenz. This is memoir. Bethany Joy Lenz was an actor on One Tree Hill, which was one of my favorite TV shows in high school and in college. Absolutely loved it. And Bethany Joy Lenz played Haley James Scott, who is also my favorite character on One Tree Hill. And this is about her life while she was filming One Tree Hill and while she was also in an actual cult. So I started this on audio. I had really high expectations, maybe not high expectations. I had really high hopes that I would love this, and I'm not super sucked in. So I actually didn't listen to it for about 5 days by accident. So I am going to keep going on this. However, I'm not above DNFing it. And then the other one that I would really like to read, but I might not get to, is Illusionary by Zoraida Cordova. I had Incendiary, which is book 1, on my TBR for like 4 years, and I finally read it in December, and it's only duology, and I would really like to wrap this up before going into the new year. It's YA, Corrupt Kingdom. They're like a rebel component that's trying to burn it all down for the people, and I really love Zoraida Cordova's writing. I wasn't totally sucked into Incendiary, but I loved the ending, and I'm an endings reader, so for the most part, with a few exceptions, even if I didn't love like 75% of the book, if it's a good ending, I can usually be convinced into picking up the next book. So that's kind of the TBR for the next little bit. I only have to work one day between now and the new year, so that's great. Hopefully that will equal a lot of reading time. And I might also reorganize the bookshelf this week, so if I do, I'll take you along with me, because that will be a fun time. This intro is very, very long, so thanks for writing through that with me. Right now, I really do need to go eat because I'm really hungry, and I need to go to the gym because my knee is finally better and I am back to running again, which today is not a running day. Tomorrow is a running day, but I'm going to be able to do a running update later for anyone who cares or who's interested in my running progress. But if this is the first vlog of mine that you've got, hi, I started running over the summer and was doing a very slow couch to 5K, and then hurt my knee sitting down on the couch because I'm 40, and apparently that's what happens now. I sit down and I hurt myself, and I've had to let my knee heal, and it's finally better, and I'm restarting my couch to 5K, but I'm restarting it differently this time, so I think it'll be more successful. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I'm always so optimistic. Okay, now this intro has just gotten longer. I'm gonna go eat and hopefully read, and I will come back and update y'all in a little bit. get in the shower, but I have a couple of like quiet minutes because Ken and the kids are playing Zelda, and I wanted to show you all what I got for Christmas. Book-wise, we did a lower key Christmas this year, like for my whole family, and it was really nice, but I did ask for a few things and then I was surprised with a couple things. So to start off with, my middle kid got me a book, which I thought was really sweet of them. They got me Going Viral, and this is a book that they read earlier this year, and it's about two girls who fall in love, but it's during COVID, so they fall in love across balconies. And this is definitely like not what I would choose, but I think it's really sweet that they read it and they really liked it and they want me to read it too. So that was very sweet of them. And then all three of my kids got me the 5th volume of Dinosaur Sanctuary, which I'm really excited about. This is a manga that I'm actually like reading as it's published, which is so great to be caught up. And it's an alternate reality where dinosaurs never went extinct, and instead there are dino zoos all over the world, and this manga centers around a specific dino zoo that is struggling financially, and the ways the dino keepers care for the dinosaurs at the zoo and also try to instill enthusiasm in the public for their dinosaurs. And it's a real great mixture of fact and fiction. There's these little like interstitials in between each chapter with real facts about dinosaurs, and it's usually connected to something that's happened with the dinosaur in the previous chapter, and I just absolutely love this series, so I'm really excited to have another copy. And then my mom got me Vilest Things by Chloe Gong. This is the sequel to Immortal Longings. This is the UK cover because that's what I have for Immortal Longings, and I just like, I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but I just love it so much. It's so dramatic, which like I totally love. High drama and fantasy. Give it to me all day long. I love it. And then I sent my husband my link to my bookshop.org wish list so that he could just kind of pick what he wanted to get me. And one of them I anticipated, and one of them I did not at all. So the one I kind of anticipated was The Dead Take the A Train. This is by Cassandra Kah and Richard Kadri. I hate this cover, but I love the neon colors. Like, I love that trend in publishing for this year. I really hope it continues because I just think they're so bright and so colorful. I do hate all the tea, like so much. I'm hoping I love this. I am very optimistic. I haven't loved Cassandra Kah's short fiction, but I've had a feeling that maybe I would like her writing in a longer format. So fingers crossed that I do. And then the one I did not think he would get for me is he got me The Midwinter Mail Order Bride by Katie Wilde. So if you saw my January TBR, then you'll know I said I wanted to get more into romantasy this year, and that I was finally in a spot where I felt like I could really dive back into romance after not really being into it for the past couple of years. And this was on my list because Mara from Books Like Whoa likes this series a lot and said in one of her videos that Katie Wilde also used to write under Mila Vane, and Mila Vane has one of my favorite romance books of all time, Heart of Blood and Ashes, which is like a barbarian fantasy romance, and I love it. I've never reread it because I'm afraid I won't love it, but I love her. I love Mila Vane, and so when I heard this was also Mila Vane, I mean, I have to read it. I don't know what I don't know what else to say. The things I really liked about Mila Vane is her books are fantasy first, and romance is a real close second, but they were 100% fantasy books and a fantasy world, and I like that. I like it to be a fantasy world and then there's romance in it. I don't want it to be a romance novel and then fantasy was just kind of like sprinkled in as an afterthought. It's not saying, but not like magical realism. Like magical realism I really, really like in fantasy, specifically historical fantasy. Like I've done a whole video recommending historical magical realism romance books. Ugh, that's a lot. But if I'm going to be reading fantasy, so I think this is where like I might be a little picky when it comes to reading romantasy and getting into romantasy, is that I am going to want it to be fantasy first, and then the romance plot can be like a major part of the plot, but that fantasy world needs to be a fully fleshed out fantasy world. So I'm hopeful that if this is in fact Mila Vane, that I will love it. So yeah, that's my my little haul for Christmas. We might go book shopping while I'm filming this vlog because we all got money from various family members for Christmas. One of the kids' uncles just gave them cash. My dad gave me money. My dad and I always give each other book money for Christmas. And I think Barnes & Noble usually has a sale around New Year's. So we'll see. Maybe early next week if they do it before January 1st. We'll go. Not that I need more books, but I went to Barnes & Noble a few days before Christmas and I didn't buy anything. I wanted to, but I was good and I didn't buy anything. Now I want to go back and rectify that situation. So anyways, I need to go shower now because it worked out. And it's necessary, and my bangs are under my ball cap, so I have to shower. And I'm gonna keep plugging away. I've made good progress on Story of Silence. I'll tell you more about it tomorrow. I need to read my 50 pages of Trust, which I think is what I'll do when I get out of the shower. And then I'm hoping to finish Mapping the Interior tonight or early tomorrow morning at the latest. So yeah. Oh, the joys of everyone being home, and I have like 2 spots I can film in. So, hi, we're back here again. But it is the next day, and I do have updates for you. First off, I did finish Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones last night. I'm giving it a 3. This is about a boy who's recounting a story to the reader. And in the story, he's 12, which, you know, I don't love children in horror. I don't love children as the main character in horror. I can do like teenagers, like older teenagers, like a YA space, or like a 17-year-old if it's an adult book. But I am finding I do not want a child main character in an adult horror book. It's just not, I don't dig it. And this one is hard because, okay, I think I don't like Stephen Graham Jones in short form medium, right? I find it's when he is in a long form, like a novel, his writing style really works for me. That stream of consciousness style, it flows really well, follow it great. For whatever reason, when we're in short form with Stephen Graham Jones, it feels very staccato. And I feel like I'm getting like that kind of like rhythm while I'm reading, which makes it to not an enjoyable experience. So in Mapping the Interior, our main character, Junior, his father died when he was young, and it's him and his mom and his little brother Dino. And Dino has developmental delays and mental illness of some kind, though you're not told like what the mental illness could be. And Junior starts to see the ghost of his father in their house. And it's doing the thing that like he also does in Night of the Mannequin, which I also didn't like, where it's not really clear if there's something supernatural going on or if the main character is delusional. And I know there's a lot of like psychological horror like that, and I don't care for that. I just don't. I found in this past year that horror really works for me when I deeply care about the main character. I have to care about this person surviving these horrible things. I give horror 5 stars when I am rooting so hard for the main character, and I want them to come out on the other side, and I want them to be okay, and I don't want bad things to keep happening to them. And in Mapping the Interior, I was so ambivalent the entire time. I did not care what was happening to Junior. So it's a 3-star for me. And I know he has another book coming out in 2025, and I found out today that it's a novella, but it's about vampires. So I'll still probably read it, and maybe it will be the exception to the rule. But the rule that I'm finding is that I only like Stephen Graham Jones when we're in full novel land and not novellas or short stories. So there's that. I have made more progress with Trust. I am that far, 155 pages. And this is really interesting. So this book is split up into 4 parts. And the first part was written as if it was a historical novel by a fictional author named Harold Vanner about this man named Benjamin Benjamin Rask, who was in finance during the stock market crash of 1929. And it's just like a little like history of this man and his career and meeting his wife and their marriage and her subsequent spiral into mental illness. And that was like the first, how long? 124 pages. And now I'm in part 2, which is called My Life by a fictional person named Andrew Bevel. And this one is memoir, but it's interesting. It's like, so you can get like a table of contents. And it's interesting because you're going through each of these sections and he's talking about his life. And then you get to a part where it's like he hasn't written this section yet, but he's like put the outline of like what he wants to talk about. I'm not totally sure how this section connects back to Benjamin Rask. So yeah, it's interesting. It's very different from a lot of the stuff I've read this year, but I'm intrigued by the project of it. There are parts I find more interesting than others, but I'm interested to hear where this goes. From here on out, I'm probably only going to update like as I finish a part, since there's 4 parts. So I'll update when I'm done with this one, and then I won't update for this one every day because I'm finding takes me a while to figure out where the particular section I'm in is going. Like I was probably 3/4 of the way through part 1 before I felt like I could talk about it in any kind of eloquent manner. So I definitely need the time to figure out what the heck is going on. And then I am almost done with Story of Silence. I'm 392 pages in. I will probably finish it tomorrow. And I really go back and forth on whether I'm interested in this story or not. I found when Silence was traveling, at one point Silence, is this a spoiler? Maybe not. No, well, depends. Depends on what your definition of spoiler is. There is one part where, because Silence's father forbids him from doing anything that boys would do because his father just cannot get over the fact that Silence has a vagina instead of a penis. And so Silence's father forbids him from doing any of the things that boys do. And Silence, in his frustration and his hurt, runs away from his father's fortress and travels around as a minstrel. And I actually found that part really interesting, like the road trip aspect of it. I really like the friend that Silence makes along the way, and now I'm into Silence as an adult. And a thing just happened with a woman in the court, and I really disliked that part. It had to do with like assault and like the way how aggressive she was and the way that the situation is manipulated. And I just like, so much of this book was so not cozy, but I don't know, it just wasn't high action. It felt very calming to read or to listen to because I have been listening to this on audio a lot. And then I got to this part where there's this big battle, which is fine. I kind of zoned out during the battle, and then Silence is at the king's court, and there's all this like political intrigue stuff, and there's that particular situation, and I just didn't care for it, and it felt really out of step with everything else that I've read. So I didn't dig that part. I feel like I should be more into this than I am, and I'm trying to pinpoint what about it isn't capturing my attention or what I wish was done differently. And I will say, like, while this is shelved, I need to paint my nails, while this is shelved in fantasy and it's by Harper Voyager, this is really like, the magic part is barely there. The magic only exists because this is set just a little bit post King Arthur age, And so Merlin is a very, very minor character in this book, and I think that is the only thing that is magical. And so it's really just medieval historical fiction, which I do not want in my life. I don't even read medieval romance because I just do not like that time period in history. It's not a time period I enjoy reading about. It's not a time period that I find interesting or escapist or compelling. So I feel a little bit like I got hoodwinked because I was expecting magic. I am so close to being done with this. I have, I don't know, 50 pages, maybe, or just over 50 pages, and I'll finish it tomorrow. I'm done with it for today. I don't want to read anymore. So what I will read tonight, because I mean, it's not even 4 o'clock, so obviously I'm gonna read more today. But I did start volume 7 of Lore Olympus last night. I gave this to my middle kid for Christmas, and they very forcefully demanded that I read it as well so that they can talk to me about it, because I am very strict about no spoilers for this series, even though it kind of doesn't matter. But this is a Persephone and Hades retelling, and I really love it. It's very sweet. I love the art, but it's not sweet. I mean, parts of it are sweet. Parts of it are heavy too. Like, check the content warnings for this series, because Rachel Smith does tackle some like harder stuff, but I utterly adore this series, and this will be nice and easy thing to read tonight. I did notice, why do I keep talking so long on these clips? I need to get it together. Be succinct. Never been succinct in my life, but you know, I have read 244 books so far this year. Would it, see, even starting to say it, it sounds bananas, but would it be bananas to try to get that to 250 by Tuesday when it's Friday? Because if I just finish these 3, that takes me up to 247. And then I really want to read Illusionary. I'm going to start Illusionary as soon as I finish The Story of Silence. So I would only need to find 2 more short books to read to do that. It might not be worth it. I'll have to think about it. It would be cool. I just don't know that I have it in me to go that hard right now. So anyways, that's where I'm at. And yeah, I'm bummed I'm not liking The Story of Silence more, but I am happy that I am liking Trust. So, you know, it balances, I guess. Okay, I need to go. What do I need to go do? I need to go do something. I can't just stay here and talk to y'all for forever, because this clip's already 14 minutes long. Dear God. Okay, bye. Hello friends, the house is quiet-ish, so we'll see how much of an update I can get through before it descends into chaos once again. I do have a lot to update you on because I was a busy little bee yesterday. I guess let's start with reading updates, or should we start with my Barnes & Noble haul? I don't know. Let's start with Barnes & Noble. They were having their hardcover sale yesterday. It ends on like the 29th, so it'll be long over by the time this sees the light of day, but we did go for that. I always struggle with those though, because I feel like when I go and it's a hardcover sale, every book I want is paperback. But there were a couple things in hardcover that I did want. I picked up Heaven's Official Blessing. This has been on my bookshop wish list for a long time. I have been circling this book. I really want to read it. I really think I will love it based on all the things I've heard about it. This is a Japanese light novel, I believe, but I have really no room to speak on what that means or what that is because I don't really know myself. I've just heard really good things about this particular series, and this is definitely like a sub-genre or style of books that I want to get into because I think I will like it. And then I picked up the last book in the, what is this series called? I don't know what the series is called, but it's The Shadows Rule All by Abigail Owen. Book 1 is The Liar's Crown, The Liar's Throne. Watch me talk about the series that I've been inhaling this year, and I don't even remember what any of the books are called. Yeah, first book is The Liar's Crown. Book 2 is The Stolen Throne. It is the Dominions series. This is YA romantasy. This series is my introduction to a shadow daddy, and I just love it so much. Love it so much. So this is the final book in the trilogy. It just came out, I think, in November, and I'm really excited to finish it because, man, Abigail Owen writes a banger of an ending for both the books in the series that I've read. Like, the main character's last line of the book, oh, it's so good. It's so good. These read like TV shows to me, and they're just so fun. They're so fun. So I'm excited to read that. And it's like chonky, but her chapters are so short that I read them fast. I'm not enjoying this dust jacket situation. It is entangled, so I guess makes sense that, I don't know, just the dust jacket feels cheap. I'll just say that. Luckily, I'm here for the content, not the dust jacket, but entangled. This dust jacket does feel cheap. And then this was complete impulse buy. I saw this book when we went before Christmas, and it's so pretty. I don't even know if I'm gonna like it. I don't know if it's gonna be good, but it was so pretty that I literally could not walk away from it. And I'm hoping that I just love it. But it's Under the Oak Tree by Suji Kim. I mean, look at this book. Look at the stunning, look at this sprayed edge. It is just so pretty. I don't know what this is. It's fantasy. It's about a girl who is engaged to get married to for political reasons, and so she's not super excited about it. They get off to a bad start, and then it skips ahead 3 years later, and they've been married for 3 years, but he's been off at war, and he comes home, and I don't know, they fall in love after they're married, which feels like such old school romance vibes of a Jude Deveraux or Julie Garwood, where they're married for political reasons and then he goes off and they come back and then they have to fall in love as man and wife, which I love that. I love that dynamic. Okay, this was a web novel. So this is chapters 1 through 76 of the original web novel. God, fingers crossed that I like this, because I'm gonna be real sad if it's a DNF. Real sad. That's my little Barnes & Noble book haul. 2 things that have been on my radar for a long time that I knew I wanted to read, and 1 impulse. And then I have finished 3 books since I talked to you last. I did read and finish volume 7 of Lore Olympus. I gave this 5 stars. This might be my favorite volume of Lore Olympus. We had so much forward momentum. Sometimes these volumes can feel really episodic and the events aren't connected, but this one flowed so well where it was really coming to a thing, an event. And so there's a lot of forward momentum. There was a lot of movement and development in Hades and Persephone's romance, which the ones that really focus on their relationship end up being my favorite volumes. And the ending was so mean. It was just so mean. I won't tell you anything else because it's a big spoiler, but the ending is mean. and my feelings are hurt that she did that to us. And then, unfortunately, I did finish The Story of Silence, and this really unraveled for me right at the end with that assault that I mentioned, and this is super spoilery, so I guess skip ahead if you don't care, but I can't talk about how I feel about this book without talking about what happens at the end. So if you want to know nothing, I'll put the timestamp when I stop talking about it, and you can skip ahead to that. But basically, the queen falsely accused Silence of rape, and then Silence is given this quest to go find Merlin, because Merlin is considered a true prophet, and Merlin will prove that Silence didn't do it. And what it comes down to at the end is the way for Silence to prove their innocence is to strip naked in front of the entire court and prove that they don't have a penis. I feel with all the things that have been going on with, Nancy Mace targeting that transgender senator about the bathrooms, and all these really dangerous things that right-wing politicians say about trans people, and checking the genitalia on young girls before determining whether or not they are a true girl and can play sports. It just feels so dangerous to have that be the only way of proving innocence. I don't know. I found it really upsetting and harmful. And, it says the tale of a non-binary knight finding the courage to be who they are, but the non-binariness only really comes in at the very, very end. And the whole other time, Silence is a he and thinks of himself as a boy. And it's not until the end that they really embrace their non-binariness. And then I don't even know if that really is them embracing it. So I don't know. It gave me the ick towards the end. And I read the author's note, and I guess there is a epic medieval poem about a knight called Silence, and like that's what this book was based on. And there is the accusation in the poem, and so that's why it's included in the book. But I just felt like it felt so out of step with everything else that I had read up to that point, and I just didn't like how the author resolved it. And really, at the end of the day, I got duped into reading historical fiction set in medieval time period, which not a fan. I'm not a fan. And there's so much misogyny towards women and so much belittling of women that's never countered, never pushed back on. And like, yes, this book is set in medieval times, but it was written in 2020 or published in 2020. I don't allow a book's historical setting to be the excuse for harmful language and ideas being put forward to a modern audience, if that makes sense. So this was a big disappointment for me, and I didn't like it. I don't even remember what I gave it. I think I gave it a 3.25 because it's good writing. I was engaged in the middle. I liked the middle section where Silence was journeying around with the minstrels. I thought that was really fun and interesting. I even liked the beginning. Well, not the beginning, but like, I guess it was 100 pages in when Silence was finally going to train to be a knight. Maybe I should drop my rating to 2.5 because honestly I finished this yesterday morning, and the more I've sat with it, the more I've disliked it. So I'll have to think on that. I might be dropping that. My rating might be too nice. All right, it's editing Emily because I'm going back and editing through this clip, and I want to throw out that I would still probably recommend this book to readers who like books like Babel, where it's shelved in fantasy, but the fantasy component is so secondary that it's almost unnoticeable. And I would say Babel even has like a stronger magical component than the story of Silence does. But I think if you like Babel, if you grew up reading Alana, if you like medieval fiction, you might like this. This book does have a fairly high rating on Storygraph, so I think I'm definitely in the minority in not liking it very much. I know a bookseller who really likes this book, so I would still probably recommend it. I don't think I would recommend it to any person I know that is non-binary, because I think the way Silence comes to term or accepts their non-binariness is going to be super specific, and not every non-binary person is going to have that relationship to a binary gender situation. And also, if you grew up reading and loving Alana and wanted a more adult version, you'd probably like this. And then the last book I finished this morning was Dinner for Vampires by Bethany Joy Lenz, and I was going to try and read my One Tree Hill sweatshirt when I told you about this book, but sadly it is in the dirty laundry, so I cannot wear it. But I think I gave you a preamble for this, but this is a memoir about when Joy was working on One Tree Hill, but was also in a religious cult. And it's not like a big named cult, it was a Bible study group where this older man came in and took over these kids for a lot of them, their lives, and manipulated a lot of them. And it took a while for me to get into it. There wasn't as much about her experience filming One Tree Hill as I would have liked. I would have liked more behind the scenes. I thought it was interesting, like when she was talking about auditioning for One Tree Hill and reading with Chad Michael Murray, she had, like, Chad Michael Murray is on the audiobook reading his Lucas lines for the audition scene while Joy is reading her Haley lines from the audition scene. And it's a scene that's in the show, like, that I remember from, I guess it's from episode 2, because she's not in episode 1. Is she? No, not really. A little bit? Oh, I have to rewatch now. Anyways, so that was kind of like, it was fun to hear his voice, and like James Lafferty, also his voice is in it, and Paul Johansson and Tyler Hilton. And interesting that it's just the men, and like Sophia Bush and Hillary Burton and like the women in the show weren't invited to be on the audiobook. I just realized that. Anyways, it's just about her life and what she was going through, and it's frustrating because like she'll tell you things that the guy that led the cult was saying, and in my head I was just screaming, get out. What are you doing? This is going to be so bad for you. Like, I was so frustrated on her behalf because I think we all like to think that we would be, you know, savvy enough to not be sucked into a cult, but you never know how you will actually react in that situation until you're there. But being on the outside looking in, you're just like, ah! Yeah, honestly, I would have liked more about One Tree Hill. It made me sad to read it because I watched One Tree Hill as it was coming out when I was in high school and college, and it was a show that meant a lot to me, and Joy's character, Haley, meant a lot to me and like helped me through some really difficult times. And so it always makes me really sad when I hear what a negative experience being on that show was, especially for like the younger cast members and especially for the younger female cast members. Like, I know Bethany Joy Lenz and Hilary Burton and Sophia Bush were really manipulated and taken advantage of from accounts that they have given now that the show has been over for a long time. So it always makes me sad that a show that meant so much to me and was so important to me and I got a lot of solace from was so toxic to the people who are making something that I loved so deeply, if that all makes sense. So I think I gave it a 4 at the end of the day because it is like her story to tell, and like, who am I to criticize how she wants to tell this story, because it is like her story. But I think if you also like have a lot of love and affection and fondness for One Tree Hill, like, I definitely would recommend it. I think there's been like some drama with those three main actresses recently with their podcast and everything, but I haven't paid super close attention, so I don't know for sure. But yeah, I'm glad I read it. I'm glad I listened to it. Audiobook is fine. It's fine. It's fine. But I definitely would have rather listened to it than read it physically. For today, because it's Sunday, I'm doing my like pre-New Year's cleaning. I know it's very exciting, but I am at 247 books. So here's the plan. I did start Illusionary. I'm going to try my hardest to finish this. I am still plugging away on Trust. I'm reading my 50 pages a day. We'll talk more about that later. And then I do have Volume 5 Dinosaur Sanctuary, or I could read the latest volume of Witch Hat Atelier. But I think I'm going to make it to 250. Yeah! So yeah, these are the plans for today. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to keep cleaning. I'm going to just, you know, I am going to leave the house because I'm going to go to the gym. Oh, and I have to take books back to the library. Dang it. Okay, once again, this clip is far too long, so I'm going to go and do my things, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hey all, I just got out of the gym, and I remembered that I said I was going to talk to you about my running stuff in this video, so I'm going to do it now while I'm thinking about it. If this is like not your thing and you don't care, that's totally fine. Feel free to skip ahead. I know fitness content is not for everyone, especially like at the new year when you're just being bombarded with it all the time online. But I started running back in the summer, and if you watch my vlog during the summer and beginning of fall, you'll know this already. So I'll try to do it quick for anyone if this is your first video of mine that you've seen, or you just missed that content earlier in the year or last year, depending on when this goes up. This time is time is a construct. But I started doing a couch decay, I think it was in July or June, and I did it real slow. Just a minute. Okay, sorry, people in the parking lot. How dare they? And I went real slow because I have a very cranky knee from years of doing ballet and dance, and it's very sensitive, and so I didn't want to injure myself, so I went super slow. And I was just starting to like get into doing full runs without stopping to rest or to walk, which was great, but like seriously took it out of me. And then I hurt my knee sitting on the couch. And so I haven't been running. I've been waiting for my knee to heal and focused on mobility and strengthening up the muscles around my knee so it has more support. It's finally started to feel better. And then I also did a lot of research about things that beginner runners would have done differently, with like if they had done it all over again. And all the videos, all the posts, all the things that I read said that they would run slower, like their speed would be slower, and they would keep a slower pace for longer. And that also, they would focus more on their breathing. And then I was watching a video, and the creator that made it recommended an app called Runna. And so I was like, well, I'll go check it out and see what it is. Y'all, it's not sponsored. I'm using the free app, and the free app like is so good. But I put in that I wanted to do a 5K, that I was basically starting from scratch, and that I also wanted to incorporate lifting into my workout routine. And I just finished my first week using that app, and it's made such a difference. So I've only done 2 runs, and they're running and walking, but I'm going so slow. I'm running on like at a 4 miles per hour on the treadmill. But I am determined to not get hurt this time. But I'm really liking it. I don't know if anybody else is kind of looking to get into this, because I think running was like a trending thing this year, which is so funny to say. But a lot of the fitness like spaces that I lurk in have talked about how running was the big like trend for 2024. So it's definitely something a lot of people are trying out or trying to do again. So yeah, if you're also looking like to get into running, I highly recommend Runna. The free app is not that I want to have to pay for it, but it's seriously undervalued. Like I'm getting so much for not paying anything. And I'm really enjoying the workouts. It's I was getting kind of bored. My routine is kind of feeling stale, and it feels a lot more like, yeah, a lot more engaging now. So I might keep talking about it depending on how it goes, but a weekend, like I would definitely look into it. Good morning, friends. So I'm at the bookstore getting content for the week, and I'm having a little bit of like creative block. So I thought I'd come give you a little update while I try to figure out what else I need content-wise for the week. Best laid plans did not go the way I meant them to this morning. I meant to get up at 5:30 and read, and I slept horribly last night. So I hit snooze for like an hour. I don't remember what time I got up, but you saw what time I finally got up. So yeah, not great. But I am so close to being done with, what's the book 2 called? Illusionary. I don't think it's gonna be a problem to finish it. Literally, I'm so close. And I'm meeting friends for coffee after I'm done here, but I'm gonna have like a little gap. So I think I might be able to sit in the car and finish it. But I did finish Trust yesterday. I put on the audiobook and I started to redo the shelves. And I did not take you with me because I was not sure what I wanted to do. And I just wanted to sit and figure it out and not worry about like what the camera was capturing. And so yeah, I put on the audiobook for Trust, and I ended up finishing it, and I'm gonna give it 5 stars. Now, it's not necessarily like my favorite thing I've read this year, but I think writing wise, structure, concept, like those are all 5 stars. Like I mean, I haven't read any of the other books that were on the list for the Pulitzer, but like I see why this is an award-winning book. So I misspoke with what the different sections were earlier because I just didn't grasp the whole concept. And I feel like you really do need to finish the whole book to have an idea of what Hernandez is doing. So the first book, Trust, is a novel. It's a fictionalized novel about a Wall Street tycoon, basically, but like a very like isolated, withdrawn Wall Street tycoon, like very eccentric, and his marriage with his wife and things that happened to her. And then the second section is the rough draft of an autobiography about the real person that the fiction book is based on or inspired by. And then the third part is like a reflection from the ghostwriter for the autobiography. And then the last section is the journal entries of the real wife of the Wall Street tycoon as she is ill. So like very cool. And very cool to like read and discover how all these things are interconnected. And because I just gave you like the bare bones, and there's so much more detail in it. I think my favorite sections were the first part and the third part. I found the third part really interesting. And then after reading the third part, like the fourth part is so impactful. So yeah, it was really good. I'm so glad I read it and that I didn't keep pushing it off, because I've definitely, was a little intimidated by like this book because I usually don't pick up like the Pulitzer winners. But it's also made me really excited to read James by Percival Everett, which I really wanted to read, but again, been a little intimidated by. And it's just a good reminder of like, oh yeah, no, I can read smarter books. Like I can comprehend and enjoy and get like fulfillment from smarter books. Not that other books are not as smart, but just like, you know, books that are less like popcorny, which I think is what I tend to reach for quite a bit, which is a really nice thing to know as I'm like going into a year where I want to read more classics and get that like part of my brain back. So yeah, it's very cool. Hopefully I will be back soon with an update on Illusionary. I will tell you right now, I should be absolutely loving this little duology, and the fact that I'm not, I think has more to say about me than about the books, but I'm disappointed in myself that I'm not enjoying it more because I should be eating it up. But anyways, all right, I'm gonna go get some more content at the bookstore, show you all. It's great. I'm in here by myself and just did the stuff that I know I need, and now I'm just like looking around for like extra goodies of like things that I think our community would want to know about that we have in the store. So anyways, I'm gonna go back to my job, and hopefully next time I talk to you I'll have finished Illusionary. Hello again. It is much later. It's almost 5. It's after 5, and I haven't done any other reading today other than the little bit you saw in the car. My oldest went to the mall with their dad and some friends, and then I took the other two to go see Wicked. Second time for me, second time for my middle kid, first time for my youngest. I had a much more measured emotional response this time, so that was nice. Didn't sob the way I did the first time through. And I need to talk to you about Illusionary by Zoraida Cordova, which I don't think I've talked about at all in this vlog, other than the fact that I was reading it and I didn't love it. Funnily enough, I think I read Incendiary in my Ketchup and Pickles vlog for December. I have to double check, but I think that's correct because I read it pretty early on in the month. And this is a YA fantasy duology. And so book 1 is about Ren, who is a rebel in this kingdom where being a magical person is outlawed. And this group of rebels are all made up of magical people. There's a bunch of different magical abilities that somebody can have. Ren's particular magical ability is that she can take people's memories, but when she takes them, she can't put them back, and then they're in her. And it's not a great power, to be honest. And there is an event where the leader of her rebel group and the boy she's in love with gets kidnapped by the king or the royal guards, and he is executed. And Ren, in order to get revenge, infiltrates the royal palace. In this one is basically the plot. And in this one, the revolution continues. And like I said this morning, I should have loved this series, this duology, so much. I should have been eating this up. And while I did read them both fairly quickly, I wasn't as engaged as I wanted to be, as I expected to be. I never got super attached to the characters. I was never really invested in what was going on. I was just kind of like a bystander watching everything happen, which I don't love that reading experience. And I can't even tell you what needed to be different in these books because I don't think anything needs to be different. I think this is a solid YA fantasy duology. There's a really great romance, but it's like age appropriate, which is great. And there's like all these hallmarks of YA fantasy that I really like and I think make for great storytelling and make for captive storytelling. And I don't know why it didn't suck me in this instance. So I did give both of these books a 4. Because while I was not, like, enjoyment-wise or investment-wise, it was probably like a 2.75. But I love Zoraida Cordova. I have given other books by her 5s. I think her writing is good. I think her character work is good. I think she writes really great YA fantasy. I think she writes really great adult fantasy because I've read her adult fantasy and I really liked it. So again, like, I don't know why this duology did not hit the way I expected it to, but it's definitely a me and not a book. So like I highly recommend it if like you're looking for this type of YA fantasy romance. If you have a teen, if you know an actual like teen, a 14 to 18-year-old who likes fantasy romance, like I would recommend this because it's fantasy romance that is age appropriate for a YA audience. You don't really have those anymore, so it's important. So anyways, I finished it. I'm mad that I didn't love it, but again, I just don't know if I'd read it at a different time. Maybe I would have had more fun. Maybe they sat on my TBR for too long. If I had read them, you know, the year like as I brought them home, maybe it would have been a totally different experience. I don't know what I wanted from these books or what inclusion could have made them 5 stars. And yeah, I just don't know. So my book for the rest of this evening is going to be the volume 12 of Witch Hat Atelier. This is the most recent volume. I think volume 13 comes out in January, just as exciting. But this is about a witch named Coco and the other witch apprentices that she is training with and the 2 witches that are their teachers. And it oscillates between being really cozy and really fraught. So we'll see what this one is. I think this might be a fraught volume because my twins are also super into this series and both freaked out when they finished this and have been pestering me to read it constantly. And my oldest saw me with it earlier and got super excited. So my husband's out getting Chinese food right now because we have Chinese food every New Year's Eve. We are going to watch The Time Machine, the old one, because it starts on New Year's Eve. That is our tradition. And then, I don't know, my kids really want to try to stay up till midnight tonight. I don't because I did not sleep well last night, but we'll see. Hopefully they'll tap out. Fingers crossed they will tap out quick. And yeah, so wish me luck, and hopefully I do actually finish this because then that would be 250 books, which would be pretty magical, and then I would have nothing on my TBR when I wake up tomorrow morning, which will be, oh my gosh, the possibilities. How will I even choose what to start tomorrow? I don't know. I have like 5 books going through my head that I could start tomorrow. I just don't know. It's too many choices. I'm so excited. I love New Year's. New Year's is my favorite. When I was a kid, Christmas was my favorite, and New Year's was kind of boring. But now as an adult, Christmas is probably my least favorite holiday of the year. And ooh, New Year's or Halloween might be my favorite. I don't know. I really love Halloween. But I love the fresh start of New Year's. I love the promise. I love the potential. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. Yeah, let's go read. Oh, I took my glasses off while I was reading and now I can't see anything. Hello. All right, did it. Finished book 250 for 2024. This was good. I think I'll give it 4 stars. A couple of volumes ago, Kifri, who is one of the teachers of the group of apprentices, he took the 4 girls to his kingdom because they were going to go to this magical festival, and then stuff has started to go sideways at this festival. And at the beginning of this one, in this world, there's 2 types of witches. There's the pointed caps, which are these kind of witches, and then the brimmed caps, which the brimmed caps are like the bad witches. And a brimmed cap witch at the beginning was drawing a seal, which is their type of spells, on the body of a prisoner. And when the spell activated, this like tentacled leech monster thing exploded and is now attacking the kingdom. And so it's a joint of, we're following so many different characters that it really does jump around a lot. I would say that that's my one criticism at these volumes as we get farther in, because there are so many points of views and they are getting separated from each other. It feels like a lot in one volume. So this one was pretty intense, a little stressful, but again, because we're following so many different people and they're all separated as like this monster is attacking the kingdom, that it lessened the impact a little bit for me, but still like a solid volume. I'll be interested to see where this goes in volume 13, which I should actually go check and see when that comes out because I need to pre-order that for my oldest for her birthday present because my twins become teenagers at the end of January, like officially. I do not feel old enough to be the parent of teenagers, but I have to say, so far, I enjoy being the parent of teenagers, much more than I enjoyed being the parent of like preschoolers. So, you know, there's that. But yeah, a happy New Year's, friends. I hope you all had a lovely, chill holiday. I was texting with my family earlier while we were eating dinner and watching The Time Machine, and everybody was staying in and having dinner and chilling. Love that. Love that for all of us. My kids very much want to stay up until midnight, and I think I am the parent that is going to be doing that. So, well, I think I told you this already. Anyways, wish me luck. I'm not an up late type of person. And now I don't have anything to read, but that's okay. I'm woefully behind on watching YouTube, so I'll probably catch up on all the vlogs and videos and end of the year content I haven't had time to watch this week. So yeah, video game is so loud. So yeah, thank you for hanging out with me this week. We got so much reading done. How many books did I even read? I feel like it was a lot because I got my harebrained idea. Let's see, I started with mapping the interior, right? Right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books in a little under a week. Huh? Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Okay, yes. Thank you so much for watching, friends. If you want to leave an emoji to let me know you were here, to let me know you made it to the end of the video, let's do let's do like a New Year's emoji, like a confetti, champagne, fireworks, whatever says New Year's celebration. Let's do that one. And like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you all in 2025. Bye.